only voting on prisoner transfer agreements instead. They wanted to pretend to Parliament that it was a vote on a package of 35 measures, and yet let their MPs fend off UKIP in their constituencies by claiming that they never voted for the most controversial plans. I will give way if he can tell me whether or not the European arrest warrant is included in this motion.
I have the privilege of being a receipt of communications from whips and from the Home Secretary about today, unlike the Honourable Lady. And I have to say, all of us here were perfectly well aware of what we were debating this evening, as she's made clear.
I think he might have been helpful if he had explained to some of his backbenchers, and certainly to us, because we would really have liked to know. We thought we were coming to vote on the European arrest warrant. When we saw the motion Thursday, Friday last week, I specifically wrote to the Home Secretary to ask for clarity, because it was utterly baffling to us.
Just before I take that intervention, point of order, Mr. Chris Bryant.
Erskine May says that if a member prays in aid a document, then they have to be prepared to submit it to the House. The Honourable Member for Ipswich prayed in aid a document apparently coming from the government whip. Surely they should be made available to the House.
Yes, but I think that that rule... No, I don't think it's as simple as that. I think that the ruling refers to state papers. And I don't honestly think that some document circulated clandestinely or otherwise as a result of the wishes of a Majesty's Government whip's office necessarily constitutes a state paper. It's probably just some piece of advice or other material that is being lobbed around the chamber. It doesn't have a hallowed status. Point of order.
I think state papers would normally include anything prepared by a civil servant for a government minister. I'm sure that the papers that the Honourable Member is referring to were such.
Order. I haven't seen the document in question, and it may be at some point it will be presented. But all I'm saying is at this stage it's not obvious to me that a state paper is at stake and that the Honourable Gentleman has suffered any detriment. We'll leave it there. I think we were going to take an intervention. I think the Right Honourable Lady was going to take an intervention from Mr. Jacob Rees-Mogg.
To the Right Honourable Lady for giving way to me. My honourable friend from Ipswich, quite understandably, doesn't read his communications from the Whip's office with care and attention. Had he read section 4 of today's business, it says we then move to a motion to approve the draft criminal justice and data protection brackets protocol number 36 close brackets regulations, which includes the European arrest warrant. I hope